Of all the events and things that you have done and you've been involved in, who is it? And I know them two are, at the top of your list, but who have you met that is well known and is famous that, and they just seem completely the opposite of what you envisioned?
Mm, I don't know. Maybe Chris Rock.
Yeah, TikTok, I'm just rolling on the block. Recently heard that pocket show about to start. Heard that. You should know if entertainment is your goal. You talking sports or travel, yo. This the hottest pot show. Heard that. She got the juice, everything she says is truth. If you don't know, now you know. All you ever gotta say is heard that, heard that, heard that, heard that, heard that. Look, all you ever gotta.
What's up, Heard That Nation, listening in the United States and around the world? You are listening now to the Heard That with Marisa Tigney podcast. If you're watching now on YouTube, hit that subscribe button so you stay in the know of all the guests and all the latest videos that are coming out on this channel. He is the voice of the capital city where I represent, Lansing, Michigan, the 517, the capital city, baby, on Mitten Mayhem Radio 89.7. He's an actor. And for all you Michigan State Spartan fans, he's a diehard fan. So I know you're going to enjoy him well. Known in the entertainment world as Ward Skills. And he has a lot of skills that he has done in his wonderful, soon-to-be expanded career, because I know that he's going to take it more to the top in 2022, but otherwise known as Ward Beard. Ward, welcome to the Heard That podcast.
Thank you. How you been?
I've been excellent. Thank you so much. We did talk off air before we came on there. We were talking about your Michigan State Spartans, and Ward knows that I am a Michigan fan, diehard. So anytime that the East Lansing faithful come in, there you go. Already starting like 6 seconds into the podcast. Here you go.
Here you go. Out the way.
Well, I want to get your thoughts because this week is the NFL draft, and a well-known athlete from Michigan State that pretty much took it to my team by himself, literally, Kenneth Walker III, is in the draft, declared for the draft. And he's one of those staple pieces that came out of Michigan State. And Mel Tucker, I want to hear your thoughts because you got Mel Tucker. They threw the bag at him. I think it was $90-something million that they ended up giving him, and people were laughing about it. But in his 2 years that he's been on this team, he's literally has turned this team around. Transfers that came through the transfer portal, accepted them, and whatever kind of mojo that he has with this team, the students there, the athletes there are buying into the program. Like I said, Kenneth Walker III is coming out into the NFL draft. Like, give me your thoughts about where do you think that he will land, what round per se, and who will be a great fit? And other half of that question being, football is going to be coming up real soon in the fall. Where does the Spartans look into you? How strong did they look coming into the fall season?
They finished a little better than I probably thought. You know what I mean? Walker, he took a break towards the end of the season, and a lot of people were kind of mad at him for that. But I wasn't really tripping like that. Right. So it probably was a good decision for him to sit out and try to be in the best shape he could be for when he was getting ready for the GoPro. So I think personally he's gonna do pretty good. I think I'm not sure where he's gonna go, like when he's gonna go. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, but I think somebody needs to pick him up closer to home. You know what I'm saying? I'd be glad to see him somewhere close. Like I wish the Lions were doing their thing, you know what I'm saying? Because I would love to see something like that, but
right. And hopefully the Lions will have
you know what I mean?
Exactly. And I hope the Lions have a smart draft. They have a good amount of picks. Obviously, they know they're number 2 this year. And looking at someone that is close to home on our side of the fence of the Maize and Blue, Aiden Hutchinson, because there's just talk swirling around possibly if the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to pick him up at number 1, or they're looking at another possible pick to have Aiden Hutchinson slide down. Who knows? But that is interesting that you did bring up that point, that there is a lot of talks, especially on social media, that they want Kenneth Walker III. Hopefully he does stay closer to home. But there's a lot of teams out there, running backs is few or far between because you'll see them usually slide down. The past couple of drafts, we've seen them slide down into the drafts about the second or third round, because a lot of the teams are building up their defense or getting those key pieces on offense, or they're getting a quarterback. So that'd be interesting to see how far. Hopefully about second. I was thinking second, maybe third round, because of the massive talent that he is. But you're Michigan State Spartans, and I know they are looking pretty strong going into the fall season. Pretty much one of the favorites. They weren't listening to the projected top 10, were in the 25, round about the 14, 15 ranked range. Looking at their schedule, what are your thoughts about going into it? Because like I said, Coach Mel Tucker has been absolutely phenomenal, especially against my squad the past two. Jim Harbaugh is 0-2 against them. But on the outside looking in, and you being a Spartan fan, what do you project for your guys going into the fall?
Well, I'm hoping that they do better than last year, of course. I haven't saw the schedule, so I couldn't tell you in detail how I think they're really going to come in at this point. I'd have to take a look at it, but football-wise, it seems like they've been getting better. Of course, Mel Tucker's been doing his thing since he's came. Like as a typical local fan of Michigan State, I don't hear too many complaints about him. And when you're at home and you're around other fans that go green, they're going to talk about the program and how it's going. And the people that I really normally bump into really don't have too many bad things to say about Mel Tucker. I think the fan base is more dedicated than ever than I've seen in the past several years. Yeah, I mean, would you agree? Because even though D'Antoni was there for so many years, I think more so you're seeing a lot of no longer fair weather to Michigan State fans. You're seeing a lot of support now more than ever from coach again that's came from the University of Colorado to this program. And like I said, the short time that he's been in there, he's making some positive changes to the program. Yeah. Spartan spirit's starting to become kind of trendy. You know what I mean? People who don't even watch sports or care about sports are dressing up in Michigan State stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. Going back to their true cause of being fans in the first place. You growing up in Michigan and in Lansing, a capital city, and that's where I'm from as well. Give us a little background of what it was like for you growing up in Lansing, and then now I said it at the top in the introductions of you hosting this amazing show now, Mitten Mayhem Radio. Where did music for you growing up become an integral part? When did you fall in love? Was there a particular artist, particular group that you to this day you still have a love for, that inspired you to go on this musical journey and be where you are at in radio?
Okay, well, this might sound kind of funny, but I really got turned out to hip hop from, being around my dad and stealing his cassette tapes. My dad, he used to ride around. My dad, he used to ride around the Dr. Dre Chronic album and Doggy Style and a lot of Death Row records and Tupac and stuff like that. So as a kid, DJ Quick, you know what I mean. So these type of guys I was listening to, and I was hearing these guys kind of on accident, just because I was around when he was probably playing it. You know what I mean? Right. So I fell in love with them with West Coast hip hop. I was listening to anything I could really get my hands on around that time. So that's kind of how I really got turned on to it. I was messing around with music in elementary school, and it's just always been something that I love to do. I was, first grade, I started off. I played the violin in first grade. I always had my hands.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, always had my hands on some sort of type of instrument. You know, so keyboard and I'm distracted. My daughter just came down here. Come here. Say hi.
Hello.
Come on. She want to be nervous now.
We got a special guest on there. Hi, sweetheart. How are you? For those that are not watching, she got her hands covered. Hi. Gotta love it. You know, people that want to make their debut on the podcast, that's all right.
Definitely. even outside of that, listening to the music that my dad, was playing, I kind of got turned on to music, and I figured out ways to stay involved. So I'm from Southside Lansing. I went to Luton Elementary School.
Represent the South Side, ladies and gentlemen. South Side of Lansing, yes, sir.
Yeah, so basically through school, I was in the band, 6th grade. A lot of people don't know these type of things. I've been involved in some sort of type of music for a while. So I've always just been kind of active and just figured out ways to move around. And I've done, now I'm doing radio. And
so take me through that too, because so many people that I have filtered through the podcast and listening, and a lot of listeners, and the feedback that I get are, inspiring DJs, or those that have just gotten into radio or going to school to go into radio and everything else. Where did your journey begin as far as that? Because you listed as your dad having that kind of music that was, embedded in your DNA, that you fell in love with hip hop and rap. So where did you think in your mind, you know what, I want to be a part of the radio family, I want to contribute my voice into that? And then take me through also something that I really appreciate what you're doing with Mitten Mayhem. And ladies and gentlemen, he founded this radio program that he has going on. You spotlight up and coming artists, and I appreciate that and I applaud that, because many of them don't know where to go to get their music recognized. They're handing out, or you and I growing up back in the day, people were like, had all their tapes in the trunk of the car and handing out CDs and that sort of thing and everything else. You give an opportunity for those that want to have everybody listen to their music and get that feedback. You have that connection, to have that link to where they can, email you or send you their songs and give them a spotlight, a moment on your program. So take me through all of that as well, on how you came up with that kind of format.
Yeah, so I took radio, TV, film production classes. I graduated, applied for a bunch of jobs. It was recession around that time, 2008. I applied for a bunch of jobs, no calls. You know what I mean? It was real tight, real crazy around then. So around that time, I ended up, I took a radio gig here in Lansing, over at Power, and I was, working over at Power, but I always had, my own vision of, coordinating and doing my own show. So really, I had all these ideas, and I had a lot of things going on. I had great relationships in the hip hop community around here, with other artists and other people, active, and not just in Lansing, but, also kind of, the state of Michigan and other areas as well. So with me knowing I had these resources, I just started coming up with these different visions, like, yo, what if I did my own radio show? You know what I mean? So I basically cooked up some sort of plan, and I ended up contacting the guys over at the LCC station. LCC was at the time doing, it's a nonprofit college radio station. So their programs are, they kind of create their own, you know what I mean? So I basically went over to them and presented an idea that I wanted to have a hip hop show that highlights local and Michigan-based hip hop artists. So I wasn't really sure how they were going to take that, or how they were going to really feel that idea, because really that station didn't really play too much hip hop at all. They had maybe 1 or 2 shows, but it really wasn't for the type of records that I was really had in mind to playing.
Right.
That wasn't really happening. You know what I'm saying? So I set up a meeting with the operations manager over there, and I sat down with him, and I basically let him know what was on my mind and what I was trying to do. And I told him exactly what the plan was, what I wanted to do. And surprisingly, he said that's exactly what they were looking for.
Wow.
So, yeah, but that's when the hard part kicks in. You know what I mean? Because once he granted me the idea of making this once he granted me the opportunity to do this show,
Mm-hmm.
he says, "All right, well, since you don't have a program already, you're gonna have to create the program of your show." You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's when it got wild because he wouldn't let me get on the air. I was currently over at Power, so I was already on the air over there doing Saturday nights. So once I get access to this LCC show, he tells me I can't get on the air until I have X amount of songs programmed into, and
Oh,
it was quite,
wow.
into the system. Once he said, "Yeah, you can do it," didn't mean it's about to start like that.
Right. You had to do the work.
I had to start watering the seed. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
So, I ended up getting maybe almost half of the amount of songs that he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And I contacted him again, like, "Man, I don't got everything, but I'm almost there. Come on, man, let me go."
Right.
So he ended up eventually, maybe about a month and some change, maybe 2 months after he had said I could do the show, he finally gave me a date for the first time.
That's incredible. So the person that you had contact with, the LCC, for those that are watching and listening, they're not familiar with Lansing, Michigan. That's Lansing Community College that he had went and had that meeting with. So how many songs did he tell you that you needed to have to get the opportunity to do, put your vision into reality?
I believe it was it 150 songs?
Oh, wow.
It could have been 150 records that I had to have just to get started.
Okay.
And with me having other things going on in the process of that, what it takes to get those songs put in, I already knew right away it's going to take a while. So that's why I was like, dang, I don't know. You know what I mean? So I ended up, figuring it out the best way that I could. And I ended up launching in October of 2015. October.
Okay. So almost 7 years. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Unfortunately, LCC ended up selling the radio station back in February. Yeah. So my on-air radio show went dark, basically.
Okay.
Selling the station. So I'm still active, doing outside media things. I still do the interviews and the freestyles and all of that. Everything's still active. I haven't missed a beat, but yeah, LCC ended up selling the station to a company not too long ago.
Oh, wow. Well, let's go back there because you said you continued on everything else when, they made that sale and your show was like kaput for that moment of time. Did you think of yourself, you're like, okay, I've gone this far, I downloaded these songs, I presented myself to have this opportunity, and then now all of a sudden this happens. Maybe I need to go in a different direction? Or did you just say, I'm going to stick with it because I got something going on here? I don't know where it's going to elevate me yet, but I got something that I'm going to continue on with Mitten Mayhem with or without the support now from, Lansing Community College and their radio.
Yeah, well, I didn't really miss a beat when that happened because I was already, my momentum was already up and I'm already active. You know what I mean? So the on-air radio show, the FM show, was basically a bonus to what I was already doing. You know what I mean? So it's like, and there's other ways like, podcasts, and there's other type of broadcasting avenues. So I didn't really feel like I missed a beat by that happening.
That's good.
It was great though, because I was able to bring all types of different awareness to my show. And I would mix like street records with politics. Like I play underground street records all night, but my special guest would be a political candidate or something like that. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So I'll have like I've interviewed some state representatives, some attorneys. I don't know if you remember Sri Tanadar who was running for governor.
Yeah, I do. I absolutely do.
I had Tanadar come on my show one night at like midnight. You knew he was hungry. He came on my show on the air on a Saturday night at midnight to talk to me. So
oh my goodness, that had to blow your mind. At midnight. Wow.
Yeah, came through and I was playing the grimiest street records. They're all clean. I can't play no dirty records on the air, but I was playing like, the content is like the content of the music that I was playing. I blended it up, but a large portion of it was like, grimy underground street records. So to play those and bring in that type of demographic who likes that type of music, it was a cheat sheet to feed them information that they probably wouldn't get on that same platform. You get what I'm saying? So I was bringing a lot of people in that like these type of records and don't really, are really involved in politics, and I just slide it in on them. So they hadn't really no choice but to get that.
Right.
So, I've had different type of public people come through and share that type of stuff.
That had to be absolutely mind blowing. In you still connecting with the city and the people, and some well-known people, some representatives that you said, but you had also connected as well, and I'm sure you have, with also well-known famous people, actors and so forth, and you have dabbled a little bit into acting yourself. So how in the world did that start with you catching the acting bug?
My first acting gig that I got was, I believe, in 2009. I got booked as an extra for a movie called Setup with 50 Cent and Bruce Willis. I had a buddy, my man Robert. Shout out to my boy Robert Bunky in Grand Rapids. He had contacted me and let me know of an opportunity that was going on out there with that film, and he gave me the information on how to, register with whoever I needed to get into. You know what I mean? He showed me how the steps on getting with the agency and getting it going. So I signed up and I ended up getting picked for that gig. And I ended up doing that first one. And it took like, after you do your first one, it seems like you're ready for the movie to come out the next day. You're just waiting to see it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I was an inmate in there, so I wasn't sure. It was so many other people that had the same, gig. We were extras, so you don't really know if you're gonna make the footage.
Right.
So that's the thrilling part about having a role as an extra in a movie. Because you'll be there, you'll be on set, you'll do the scenes, but you never know if they're going to use it or not in the edits. If you make, you don't know if you're going to make the edit or not. So this particular time, my first time around, I made a clip in the movie. It was kind of fast, of course. But to me, I was like, oh, there I go. You know what I'm saying?
And then turn around and be like, who want my autograph now? Who wants a photo?
Now who want my autograph? Yep. And it was crazy because a lot of other people that know me noticed that little piece too. So I was getting a lot of feedback, and a lot of people from college was contacting me like, yo, I know I'm not tripping. Did I just see you in that 50 Cent movie? So that was pretty fun. That was my first gig that I got. And I just went on to, keep going, and I landed other extra roles. I was on Empire.
Yes, you were. I remember that distinctly. Yes.
Yeah, they casted me as Stone Parker, which was Nessa's dead brother on there. So I was on a poster, and they did like a whole memorial.
Yep.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And now that you had that happen, is there more projects that you got going in the future? Is there more that you want to do now that done these projects? You want to elevate up to like a speaking role or a co-star role? This is
Yeah, I've had a couple of speaking roles on some independent films. My goal is to get a speaking role on, of course, one of the feature ones that I've been extras for. You know what I mean? So closest I really got like that, I've done stand-in jobs for like some of the actors. I've been on I was a stand-in for Detroiters for one of the actors on there. I've done quite a few different things, commercials and stuff like that. But yeah, I'd love to speak on a feature film one day. That'd be kind of lit. Right now, I'm on a couple independent ones on Tubi, stuff like that. So I'm
all
a
right,
little
you worked
active.
with 50 before, so 50, holla at your guy right here from the capital city. Put him in a little
Yeah,
speaking
man.
role in Power. Just saying.
You did?
I think you would do very well, and don't forget about us.
I'll try for sure.
You have done so much, like I said, that you are the voice of the capital city, and to have somebody accomplish so much from a small town, for people to realize that small towns do matter, and that people that are from them, as we represent today, can do some amazing things. You have had numerous amount of events that you've been a part of, or either hosted or co-hosted. The recent one, the 420 Music Festival, with some legendary boxers that you and I have grew up with. Talk about the festival and who was the legendary boxers that you had the opportunity to chop it up with.
The festival was a great turnout. Real chill vibe. Everybody loved it. A lot of people. It was wild. A lot of familiar faces in there. A lot of legends in there. I was able to run into Mike Tyson and Tommy Hearns. Hitman.
How
Hearns.
was that? How was that?
Crazy.
Especially Mike Tyson, from the video clip that you put up, he looked like he had a good old time.
Yeah, Mike got on the stage, had a great time with us. He was probably nothing like people would probably think. He's chill. He likes to have fun. He seems like a big kid. You know what I mean? So it was cool hanging around. It was cool hanging around him for that moment. Tommy Hearns, I ran into him on accident in the backstage. He actually he needed some towels. He was looking hot, like he was about to pass out. I was like, man, y'all good? Y'all okay? And they needed some towels or whatever. So I had scrammed and made that happen for him and got a photo with him, had a couple words with him. So it was cool to meet Tommy Hearns too.
That's pretty cool. Of all the events and things that you have done and you've been involved in, who is it? And I know them two are, at the top of your list, but who have you met that is well known and is famous that people need to realize that they need to have a different perspective about them? Because, you got the person that's so famous on TV and that people draw their conclusion from it until you meet them in real life. Who is somebody else or someone else that you have met groups of people, music group, whoever, and they just seemed completely the opposite of what you envisioned?
I don't know. Maybe Chris Rock, but not because of it, but because of the total opposite. Probably Chris Rock. Every time I see Chris Rock on TV, that's the only place I've ever seen him. I never had any type of encounters with Chris Rock.
Right.
Anytime I've seen him on TV, even as a kid, he's doing some goofy stuff, or he's laughing, or he's clowning, or joking, or something like that. You know what I mean? I saw Chris Rock for the first time on accident. Well, yeah, on accident, because I didn't know he was going to be there at Rick Ross's "Rather Me Than You" album release party.
Oh, okay.
New York a few years ago. We were all just kind of mingling. Everybody was just there. You know what I'm saying? And so I had my phone out, and I had pulled it out and took a photo of Chris. You know what I mean? And he took the photo with me, but the whole time, I don't know if something was on his mind or what, but he was kind of like he was sort of like stone-faced the whole time. He wasn't that goofy, funny person that day. You know what I'm saying? So me seeing him for the first time, I'm like, oh, Chris, you know what I'm saying? And he wasn't like, you know, super goofy like that in person. So that might be a time that stuck out to me to where the person wasn't what I probably would expect them to be.
Yep. That's a pretty good encounter. Again, I mean, I think the big thing that I applaud you for everything that you have done for our city and our home state. Again, giving the platform to those that just want that chance, that wants, you know, their talents to be heard or to be seen, or, you know, all the above and everything else. Who have you had through Mitten Mayhem or through any of the events that had, you know, their moment in the sun and has taken their talents and gone beyond, that you still keep in contact with?
Oh, I've had a few artists come on there. It's doing their thing right now. Nisha Nashay. Nisha Nashay, she's a Detroit artist. Well, she's based in, you know, I don't believe she's actually from, I think she's from Ypsilanti.
Okay.
She's from Ypsilanti. It's important. I don't want to get the cities, you know, mixed up. That some, you know, they care a lot about that.
Right.
Anyway, Nisha Nashay, she's doing pretty good. I think she's had a couple situations with some major deals. I've had Tone. He's an artist from Detroit. He was signed with Convict Music, you know, Akon's label.
Okay.
Not too long ago. He currently owns a restaurant in Detroit called Tony Island. He's doing pretty good. Tone was on there. What other artists do I got? I've had quite a bit of them, man. It's hard to drop them right offhand. If I would, you know what I mean? If I had a list, I'd be able to.
You got to feel good about it because you have been a part of it, even if you think you've been a small part of it, where you've given these artists an opportunity to showcase their talent. And the last question to you, you know, again, Lansing being a small town, and there's so many great things about our city that I don't think people know. If a person was to ask you, you know, once you introduce yourself and they tell you, you know, what you say to them, I'm from Lansing, Michigan. Well, Lansing, Michigan, what's Lansing, Michigan all about? Tell everybody the city that, you know, I'm proud to be from, you're from, what Lansing, Michigan, what the capital city means to you.
Lansing pretty much with me being here and me growing up here, even getting away for some years, going to college and coming back, Lansing really taught me how to be my own person. You know, we're surrounded by bigger cities and other things going on. So it's kind of easy for people to latch on to things that are happening in other areas or in bigger areas. So that could possibly take away from your originality on a regular basis. You know what I'm saying? Wanting to be trendy with other things that are going on around you or in bigger places. I've never kind of been the person to do that. Like I've always kind of did almost the opposite of what everybody else was doing on purpose. So I think Lansing is a place to where you're gonna see a lot of things. Well, it's so wild around Lansing because you see Lansing makes you not want to bump your head to find out. You know what I mean? You see other stuff going on. You see other people. You grow up with people. You see their situations, and it's kind of like Lansing is a place where the outside makes you do better for sure.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
They do. Like, if you take that risk, yeah,
seeing what's around you and outside of what you really actually care about, the stuff that you really shake your head at, will make you want to just do better.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Sure.
Teach people immediately when I tell them where I'm from, they're like, oh, okay, that's where, Magic Johnson played at Michigan State. Obviously the biggest name that came out of our city. And then you got, Matthew
definitely.
Lillard. Yeah. And you got Matthew
I mean,
Lillard.
I could drop names all day. You know
Oh,
what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Matthew Lillard, he was an actor who was in the Scooby-Doo remake series. You got Al Horford, who went to Grand Ledge.
Oh, yeah, He's doing that. Okay, yeah. We got
know
John
what I'm saying?
Smoltz, who went to Waverly.
Yes.
I believe Steven Seagal is from the area. I think Steven Seagal is from like Mason. Who else we got around here? We got DJ Infamous. He's from Lansing.
Yep, DJ Infamous.
We got Curry Kane from Lansing. A lot of legendary names coming out of here. We got the NBA stars. We got Vincent, and we got
we got Sam Vincent.
Yep, we got Valentine, Forbes.
Yep.
The list is the list is very long.
It's huge.
To us it's long. Like
it is.
For it to be here, like
And we got to add one more person to the list, and that's you, Ward. We got to add you to the list. We got to, because like I said, you're doing great things, and even though that there was an opportunity when that radio station at Lansing Community College, decided to sell and it went dark, you didn't stop what you were doing. You continued on with Mitten Mayhem, and you were going to continue to make it work. You continue to do events. You continue to network. You continue to evolve the talents that you had.
Very active.
Yes, and you stayed very active, and you was bringing along everybody else and giving them that platform to showcase their talent. So to you, sir, I put your name on that list of people that are doing big things that represent the 5-1 city, the capital city of Lansing, Michigan. I put your name on there because you continue to evolve and you continue to do amazing things and great things. And I'm so proud of you, of what you're doing. And I know that you are a representative of the city. You're an example for your kids. You're an example for the young generation that is coming up, that is watching you and everything that you're doing. So please tell the people that are listening and that are watching where they can connect on you on social media.
Yeah, definitely connect with me on social media. I'm sure we left a lot of parts out of this. I know I missed quite a bit of things, throughout the
Listen,
interview.
the platform is yours. If you want to throw something extra in there,
it's all good. No, we're definitely, we'll talk again for sure.
Absolutely.
It's definitely on. But y'all can follow me at Ward Skills. Facebook is Ward Beard. Anywhere else you can follow me at Ward Skills, WARDSKILLZ. I pretty much post what I do every, whenever. So yeah, check me out on there. I'm active. I'm out here. Mitten Mayhem Radio at gmail.com if you want to send me some music.
There you
everything
go.
else.
Up and coming artists, listen up. Send your email, send your music, send your queries to there, and he'll definitely want to check it out and everything else. And what's the next up and coming event that's happening in the capital city?
August 13th, we got Juicy J, Devin the Dude, and we're locking in some other artists. Ink's drying on some other artists right now. It's the Smokers Ball at Adado Riverfront Park. So this will be the next cannabis-based festival. August 13th, Adado Riverfront Park, Juicy J. You feel me? So make sure y'all come out, because last 420 music festival was very nice. Very nice. I really don't think y'all want to miss these.
Yep, stay in the know. Get to follow Ward, follow Mayhem Radio.
Shout out to CEP Productions for sure.
Yes. And stay in the know. And like I said, all you up and coming artists, make sure you connect with him for sure. He will check out your music, and then who knows, you may get a spotlight right there on Mayhem Radio.
Definitely, yes. I'm moving around and I'm active. So, outside of this, tap in with me and get with me.
And side note,
appreciate you for having me on here on this platform. This is nice. I like this.
Oh, you are very welcome. And listen, I'm throwing another challenge out there. Hopefully down the road soon, you become an author. I think you got a book that's inside of you that needs to come out, sir. Someone to just throw that out there. So I'll be waiting within a year or two max You come out with a book, go on your little
Putting
mini
it on
book
me?
tour. Make
You
sure
putting
you
me for that?
autograph mine.
Oh yeah.
Stay down in history, as Marisa Tigney told you. So right here on this show that you should be writing a book.
No doubt. For sure.
Oh, this was wonderful, Ward Beard. Thank you so
Thanks
much for
again.
coming
Thank
on the
you.
podcast. You're welcome. And to everybody that was watching and listening, thank you so much for checking us out today. And as I always end the show, take care, stay safe. We out.